OnePlus has been around for a couple years now, and they've been making some phones that, for better or for worse, catch the attention of the tech community very frequently. Starting all the way back with the OnePlus One at like $200 for near flagship specs, all the way up to the OnePlus 9 Pro and their Hasselblad collaboration, and it's unfortunately now flagship price. There is a line of OnePlus phones that I don't think many people know about, and they might just be what most people are looking for. This is the OnePlus Nord N100, and I've been using it for about 2 weeks now. There are some things that I like about it, some things that I'm not really a fan of, and some things that kind of concern me. So let's dive right in. So I just want to start with the price on this guy. This one came in at, I believe, $170 shipped. It was $201 and change. This is a $200 smartphone, and I will be looking at it as such. Powering this phone is a Snapdragon 460, 4 gigs of RAM, and 64 gigs of storage with expandable micro SD card slots. So for the price, those are some pretty decent specs. They're not the greatest, but they're maybe a little bit more than average. On the front of the phone, we have one of the parts of the phone that I'm more conflicted on. So the screen is a 6.52 inch LCD panel with a little hole cut out camera. Infinity O is what Samsung would call it. I don't think OnePlus really has a name for it. They also have this little chin down here, and by little chin I mean kind of big chin, but also it's a $200 phone. It's kind of standard for this price point. The screen itself is 720 by 600p and it is 90 hertz refresh rate. And that's one of the big things that I'm torn on with this phone is yes, it's high refresh rate. I love that, especially in a $200 phone. Yeah, sure, it's 90 and not 120, but you can't really ask for everything. But the resolution of the screen is, while it's standard for this price point, I have 4 Samsung phones in my drawer over there that are all sub $400 and all have the exact same screen. It's just a little not great. And now that's just me being a pixel peeper, right? Like, I'm used to 2K, 4K, like really high res screen. For most people, the screen will probably not be noticeably bad, but for me, it is not the greatest thing on the planet, but the 90 hertz does make up for it. I just kind of wish it was OLED, but again, it's $200. You're not really gonna get a good quality OLED panel if you're going to get an OLED panel at this price point. It does support double tap to wake and then double tap to sleep, so that's pretty good. And up in your little camera cutout here, you have an 8 megapixel front shooter, so that you can take some almost 4K quality selfies. 4K is 8.3 megapixels, I believe, so like not quite 4K, but almost. Covering the rest of the phone, on the back we have a little camera module here with the flash integrated. You have 3 cameras, although 2 of them are just really there to bump up the numbers, in my opinion. So you have a 13 megapixel main shooter, a 2 megapixel depth camera, and a 2 megapixel macro camera. They're kind of taking the Samsung page of here's an $80 phone with 3 cameras, but like one of them's good, which I guess is all right. Keep having to bring myself back to the price. This is a $200 phone, not a $2,000 phone, so I'll let it slide. The fingerprint reader isn't super fast, but it is in a nice, comfortable place. It did take me a little while of getting used to. So there's been a fair few times where I go to unlock my phone and I do this, and I just stare at the lock screen awkwardly for a couple seconds until I realize, oh, it's on the back. One thing that I despise about the fingerprint reader is there's no gestures. Like, you can't run your finger down it to pull down and push up the notification shade, which kind of sucks, but it's whatever. The back feels nice. One issue that I have with it is that if I press right here, I don't know if this is widespread or if it's just mine, if I press right here, it kind of creaks. That doesn't instill confidence in build quality. And then the bottom of the phone, you got your speaker, your Type-C port, and your headphone jack if you're still into that kind of thing. So in the 2 weeks I've been playing with this, it's pretty good for a $200 phone. It's actually like really decent for a $200 phone. But the Snapdragon 460 gets a little toasty when you start, like gaming or doing heavy tasks. And when the system starts to get bogged down a bit more, the display starts to kind of chug a little bit. So instead of getting 90 hertz, you'll probably get anywhere from like 40 to 60, which is usable, but on a 90 hertz display, being capped out most of the time around 60, unless you're like reading an article, kind of blows. But other than that, it's fast, it's snappy. Oxygen OS has been pretty good. It's near stock Android. The back does get fingerprinty, but I believe they do include a case when you buy it through the OnePlus store, which is what I did. If you're not into fingerprints, you can put a case on it or you can skin it. But overall, I haven't run into like compatibility issues or anything. Like, it's still an Android phone. It still runs full fat Android 11. It's currently being speculated whether or not this is going to see Android 12. But for now, with Android 11, it's a pretty solid phone. So I'm going to leave a link to OnePlus's website where you can buy this down in the description below. For a $200 phone shipped, it's not bad. It definitely gets my seal of approval, and it's a solid first impression for OnePlus because this is my first OnePlus phone that I've ever held. I'm gonna try and review the OnePlus Nord 2 if I can get my hands on that. But for the N100, good deal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. Let me know what phone is currently in your pocket and how much did you pay for it. I'm interested to know, and I'll see you guys in the next video for a pretty special one. See you then.